Hi guys, Tom Morrison here, and today we're going to help you to figure out where your squat stance should be. Now, the problem that people run into is when they start reading lots of stuff and start trying to replicate other people's squats, they can actually start to mess themselves up over time. They can make their knees really cranky, and they can just have a squat stance that doesn't really suit their structure. So what we want to do is let your body figure it out for you rather than you trying to control things, because you'll mess it up. So what we're going to do is just set our feet wherever they happen to be, and then we're going to do 10 squats. We're not going to worry about keeping our back straight or anything like that. We're trying to get down as low as we can and that our knees feel comfortable, okay? So as you're going through the squats, if you feel like your foot just wants to turn out a little bit or you need to widen your stance a little bit, you do that, you just let it happen. You don't think. You're just doing so that you can get down as comfortable as you can and so your knees feel like they're in a good position, okay? So you can do them nice and fast and just try and catch your body unaware. Or like I said, if you're getting down to that bottom position and you feel like you just need to shift the foot out a little bit, then that will be a better stance for you. So what we'll see with a lot of people is if they're trying to set up with their feet dead forward, as they're going through their squats, they'll just see their feet start to turn out ever so slightly. So that's absolutely fine as long as your knee is tracking your toe. Big things you would want to look out for would be to say if one foot was turning way out compared to the other one, like a crazy amount, then maybe there could be something going on up at the hips that you would really need to look at mobility wise and address. Otherwise that's going to carry over into your training and potentially start to shift your hips whenever you're squatting and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that the feet are relatively even. If it's just a wee bit more than the other one, then that's absolutely fine. But after you've done that and you feel like you're really comfortable in that bottom position, then you sort of look down, see where your feet are and sort of take a mental note of where they ended up, how far the toes are pointed. So for Jenny, we're seeing maybe 10 past 11 and like a quarter past 2 maybe, or quarter past 1, sorry. So take that mental note of where they are and how wide your feet actually are. So like I've seen people trying to do these crazy squats where their feet are just like this and they're only able to get to there, and simply by doing this and working on that they get a much better squat and they are like, that feels way better. So definitely assess your squat stance and make sure and see what feels comfortable for you. Now from the bottom, what we're going to do is try and fix the position. So you get down as low as you can first of all, you try and get the knees over the toes as much as you can, and then from there what Jenny's going to do here, she's going to grab the ground with her toes as much as she can, and she's going to lift herself up. She's just going to push as if she was trying to push the ground away, but just enough to stay where she is, but just lift up a slight bit. She's not trying to come up to standing, she's just coming up a slight bit. And what this does is starts to fix her lower back position. So it gives her a much flatter lower back. From there, if you were to find that the back was still rounded, you get the person to lift up a little bit more until you see that the back's straight, and then try and bring them down with the hips, okay? So you're not trying now to just get as low as you can, now you're trying to get as low as you can with a flat back, okay? So this is what's going to carry over to your actual lifting. So start to get the person to hover up and down. If you're by yourself, film yourself and see where you can get to that you maintain a neutral flat back position without any sort of rounding. So if you're new to squats, this could take a little bit of figuring out. Your hips should feel tight in this bottom position. You should have tension and you should feel like you're actually having to work in this bottom position and you're not just resting there. So now you're trying to find your active squat. So a resting squat would just be whenever you're all hunky-dory and you're just relaxing down in the bottom position, but your active squat will be ever so slightly higher. And for everybody, this will be slightly different. You may make an improvement to this over time if you are working on your mobility, but you want to know exactly where you can get to in your squat that you can maintain a neutral spine. So that's basically meaning that there's no butt length, there's no lumbar movement in your lower back. Whenever you're trying to achieve your squat depth, you're actually looking to make sure that the spine does not move and that all the mobility is coming from the hips, all the movement is coming from the hips, nothing in the torso should change. So you need to learn where that position is before you would start any kind of strength program at all or any kind of heavy lifting. So start to work on that, figure out where your squat stance is, and then start to get tension in the bottom position, start to get more spine awareness as well, and then you will be a much happy squatter. Okay guys?